Hi, I'm Frank Feysa from Smithers OASIS, and I want to show you a few steps to make this beautiful Mother's Day arrangement. The items that you'll need in order to complete the arrangement are a wire collar. It could be in any color depending on what your roses or what the flowers are you're working in. Some OASIS bind wire that's going to help attach the stems together, and this new product, this flat wire, which is awesome for adding movement and some really strong pizzazz to this arrangement. The first thing we're going to do is take this wire collar, and I'm going to pull it apart a little bit in order to get a little bit of depth inside the collar. Now, if you wanted to do it a little bit differently, if you wanted the collar in a flat sort of conformation, you can step on the collar and make it really flat, or put it between a book and really smash it. But I want to add a little bit of depth to this arrangement by making the wire collar just a little bit poofy. So there we go. And then all you do is start inserting your roses in a typical spiral pattern in the wire collar. You can take some of these roses and actually pull them down into the wire collar so you get a lot of depth and interest in the arrangement. I mean, if you felt that you wanted to put them entirely inside the collar, feel free to experiment with this, and you'll get a lot of different looks and feeling with that variation in your design work. Then we're going to take our bind wire and attach the stems together. And don't forget to do that typical spiral pattern design technique, which is going to really ensure that the roses aren't going to break when you bind them together. A few loops of that bind wire and tie it off. And that's really the most difficult part of the arrangement. And I'm going to add a few pieces of tree fern around the outside for a little bit of texture. And then I added some of these tea leaves to collar the outside of the bouquet and make it look like it has a little bit more presence than just the collar and the roses. This can be made up a good amount of time in advance, a few days before the holiday, and the roses keep just fine. You could keep them just like you would keep bulk roses in a vase, and in the last few you can carefully wrap around each other so they look neat and tidy. And then again, we'll use a little bit of bind wire to tie it off. I'm going to lay this down for a second, and the next step we'll do is we will form our flat wire. Now, any sort of wire like this, aluminum wire, is really easy to form if you use something to form it on. And I'm going to use a cylinder. It's also going to be our vessel that's going to hold this modern take on a bunch of roses. And if you quickly form it around something like a cylinder or a piece of wood, you can get a very great conformation on the product, and it's quick and it looks so professional. Okay, and I'm going to leave a little bit of flat wire here for this big swoop, which is really collaring our whole piece there. And I'm going to stretch this out so we have a little bit of interest and movement there. And what I've done on this piece is put a little band of flat wire around the bottom, which is going to hold the stems together and add a little bit of visual interest to my composition. Place it in our vase. And you can pull it up around depending on how much you want to frame those roses. And it adds quick drama to an ordinary dozen of roses. Well, I hope your Mother's Day is a success. I'm Frank Feysa from Smithers OASIS, and thanks for stopping by.